Well, that bit works. Just finally got round to, I guess, rebooting the Herms build, as you might have seen if you've on Facebook BrewTube official and my own page. For some unknown reason, I suddenly had inspiration at 10 o'clock at night to really sort of, start again. Not that it's been without its problems. If I show you, is that for a pressure test? We're now backfilling via the mains water pressure into the outlet tap, which we'll now turn off. I don't know whether the camera's picking that. Yeah, she's picking that up. Yeah, it's it leaks there, it leaks there. It will eventually start to leak where the probe goes in. It leaks there, and if there's enough water, it will start leaking there. I don't know whether it's the joint face on the kettle or whether it's the thread, but basically everything threaded leaks apart from that first one. It leaks here, it leaks into the sensor only just as a little pearl comes out. Leaks here, leaks there. It's PTFE taped up to the 9s. Some of them literally, well, I mean I screwed this in all the way down finger tight, it just does not go tight. So I'm going to have to redo them all again. I'm going to use gas fitters tape, which is thicker, and maybe a little bit of compound as well, because I'm out of choices after I get to that. I have got some Holomar red, but I don't know whether that's okay to use on this stuff. If not, it's Loctite 577 or something like that, which is inexpensive for what it is, but yeah, that's just tap 1. We've got another 2 to go. I've chopped the kegs up, and we've got another one to do here, which I presume will be the same problem. I might see if I can find a end stop to screw in here and just pressure test these before I even start messing around having to fit them and refit them on the tanks. I've got the smaller single ones to go in on the Herms coil, and somewhere is the one for the recirc. On here is the boil kettle, which has obviously got a whirlpool port and the outlet, and in the side we have got another one, which somewhere, I don't know where I'll put it, there should be a tri-clamp fitting. No, it's on the end here, look. So that'll go in like that. Even better if I turn it around the right way. So we will have a steam condenser test on here, and see if that works. And we've put a gasket around the lid, which I got off a supplier on eBay, and will just have to be a fitted weight. I was going to put a 2-inch tri-clamp on here, blank that off, but I might go just for a big cork bung or something in the top, because it will be cheaper than yet more tri-clamps and end caps, and fit in here. I've got enough to do the boil kettle with the seal as well. Should this actually work? If not, I might just redo it, because I've got the pots as well if I do upgrade. This stuff's just got an adhesive strip inside, so hopefully that may reduce, or well, totally eliminate steam as an issue, although I've still got the hoods. I know Mark at Hoverdog had the fun. That's the I did speak to him. I got a filter gauze to stop so much condensation dropping back down. like a Scotch-Brite pad, but thinner, so it gives you a little bit more evaporation time before the condensation gets the better of you and starts dripping back through the hood. So that's it so far. Haven't christened much, I haven't brewed anything. I've done one beer, I think, I don't know, whenever it was I had the bar in the old man cave. That was it. But just turn it off and get rid of the pressure. It's like Chinese water torture. So let me fill you in where I've been. Well, I haven't been anywhere. I won't say fill you in where I've been, what I've been doing. Well, I haven't been doing anything. Let's shut the door, stop the old wind turbine whistling away. I have set up another YouTube channel for my other hobby, which is, well, to the Americans, model railroading. To us in Old Blight, it's model railways, 00 gauge. But again, sort of a bit like here, I never had anywhere to accommodate it, so plans are afoot in the future for that, hopefully, to do something else and just settle back and you know, get an old fart and retire and brew my own beer and play trains. But yeah, a few changes in life, I suppose, out of my control, as they say. Some of you know, some of you won't, because you're not on Facebook or sort of thing. But yeah, well, let me just see if we can make room for a tripod, and we'll carry on with a little update, I guess. It's not, I can't really tell you what I'm brewing or anything because I ain't brewing, and the old beer fridge is getting a bit low. All what's left in there is very collectible wares, or not very good beers at all, that will end up visiting that little machine there. Well, there we are, back in the Dave Allen chair, which is will be a regular feature. Sitting down. Yeah, I've sort of been coming out in the evenings when I can be motivated to have a little potter with the kegs, and I've managed to chop them down and cut them around and drill them out and clean them up with a flappy type disc. I'm not going to go for the mirror polish and all that. It's just too much time and effort, and this has been proving a bit of a challenge, just leaning on the floor cleaning these up, which sort of leads me into yeah, I've been thirsty. No beer. I'm not drinking as much as I used to because I'm on quite a lot of painkillers, about 4,000 milligrams a day. So doesn't really, what it ends up doing is if I sort of have a strong beer or attempt more than a couple of pints, I end up with a stinking headache. And I don't actually, well, I mean, I never used to be a session drinker, so to speak, so it's no great loss, but for the last 5 months or so I've been off work again, as I was back in 2019 when I built this little room while I was off. Pretty much good job I did, because I couldn't do it now. My sort of pace I can do things at now has been severely limited by the condition I was diagnosed with, which is a form of muscular dystrophy, which is a muscle wasting disease. There is no treatment and there is no cure, so I won't get any better. There's nothing that will stop it or slow it down. It's something I was born with but was unaware of. I just thought I was crap at sports, you know. I'd always sort of come third, you know, behind the kid with Asper and the fat kid, but yeah, they'd probably beat me now. But yeah, life sort of changed in a little bit. I've been off work 5 months. I'm waiting for various different referrals to come through. Obviously COVID, I suppose. I think has been a wonderful excuse as well as causing problems in reality. But yeah, so far I've had letters to say I'm on the list to get an appointment, and that's as far as it goes. So I'm no further forward after being off work 5 months as to whether I'll get any physiotherapy to sort of what effective treatments there are, other things like referrals for assistance with walking, wheelchair referrals is sort of getting to that point now where I can still walk, but the pain that I get basically means I don't want to. Even sort of sitting here now with my feet on the footrest, I get pain in my feet, pains in my leg, constant pain in my lower back, which is sort of in part with the nerve and the muscle wastage. My muscles are sort of fighting constantly to do everything you take for granted, keeping you upright and walking. So it's sort of been a bit of I've sort of got worse while I've been off in the 5 months rather than sort of have a break and improve. Last time I was off in I think I went back September in 2019, went back part-time. So what will happen now, I don't know. It's the big if at the moment. So the only motivation I've had really is to try and do this. I've got still loads of jobs to do outside, but again it's becoming sort of a mental and physical challenge as well now. So nothing that would have been nice to have that time off as a sabbatical and do everything that's been needed to be crossed off that list for several years is now looking like, you know. For years I've spent being a handyman as well as doing my daytime job, doing other people's work, and now I need to do my own work. I need a handyman. Such is life, as they say. So yeah, I'll sort of proceed with the kegs and maybe sort of do an hour and a half farting about, and then I've had enough and go back in for the rest of the day and watch a few of you guys' videos to re-inspire me again. So the stock's run out, so I really need to brew something, because obviously not being at work I'm not getting any cheap beer or free samples. So I'm having to put up with supermarket beer, which is, well, Budvar at the minute is on a good deal, or the Piston Head 6-pack, but yeah, not the same as brewing your own when you sort of even, they're cheapish beers, you know, you think you buy a couple of them for a tenner and you think, well, I could have made 20 litres of beer for that money. But yeah, you do get bored with it after a while, don't you? So I have got bigger pots than these ones to upscale this system, but whether I'll ever use them or not, I don't know. I can't envisage me needing to sort of do 2 kegs worth or 2.5, 3 kegs worth of beer in one run. It's only me drinks. My wife will have a little one occasionally, but nothing that would impact my stocks. So, and obviously everything I've got is getting quite long in the tooth with regards to ingredients. I mean, the hops are in sort of -20, so they shouldn't be too bad. At the worst, that will just mean, you know, having to chuck a few extras in to compensate for their alpha acid loss. But my grain's getting a bit long in the tooth, so I am going to do a viability test with that, because I have sort of researched, and some people have brewed grain. We used grain and it still tasted okay, and it's been 6 years old. Now obviously the enzymes can die in the grain, so you don't get any conversion. More prone is sort of pre-crushed grain, but I've got the mill stripped. One of the rollers has gone a bit rusty, but I did clean them up with a brush, but I'll run a couple of kilos through this and clean it out. But I did notice there was a little bit of dust in here, and something had nested in it and created its little offspring. This room is sort of fairly well sealed, but it still manages to get things in it that you don't want. I've got loads of those little poxy cellar spiders that seem to eat nothing, so they're not even useful for bug control. They just fucking grow and leave cobwebs everywhere, so I nuke the bastards. I've got Raid cockroach spray, which fucks spiders off straight away, and I've got a UVC death ray bulb. So you want one of these. That's what the hospitals and clinic labs use for killing bacteria. Probably might work on that other thing as well, but you don't want to be in the room with this because it generates ozone in amounts you wouldn't want to be inhaling, and it emits UVC, which will also give you arc eye and suntan. It has the same effects as a welder. It will give you UV burns on your skin and eyeballs, as well as generating ozone gas, which kills all the nasty. But yeah, that's sort of trying to get back on the horse really, but everything's sort of fighting me. If it don't leak, it's broke, sort of thing. But they are. Not a lot we can do. We can just keep persevering and trying and carrying on, and yeah, so can't really tell you a lot else. I've been, I don't know how long away, 2 years. I know I did pop back with the odd little sort of fill-in video, but yeah, as for sort of brewing, I just put a halt to it. I lost my mojo, and obviously, you know, I could get a vast range of beers from work, so there was not really a lot of need to have the same beer every night for 20 nights sort of thing, until we kicked the keg and started another one. But my interest in beer has not waned, just that I've sort of drifted on to my other hobby. Originally this wasn't going to be built in here, it was going to be built by the garage, but because I had a shed with a railway layout, I didn't really want to be faced with demolishing all that to build a lean-to off the back of the garage for a brewery. Now my Mother Nature has sort of forced my hand, and the shed's in beyond repair. The floor had collapsed, the walls had slid off the floor, rain had got in, all of the sort of railway rolling stock had got damaged, ripped off the shelves and things, and yeah, so it's sort of, I've got to start from scratch again pretty much. So I've decided that hopefully, as the inverted commas, I can clear the other side of the garden and get a concrete base down and a steel shed made out of framework and corrugated steel, epoxy coated stuff, so there's no maintenance, no rot. Same with this shed, I've had to replace a couple of the planks that were overdue. Luckily the roof's not a problem, but yeah, if it's wood it has a limited lifespan, doesn't it? And I'm not in a position where I'm going to be sort of being able to maintain anything like that in the future, so I need to push on and divert my energies, what little there is left, into making everything. Well, I was supposed to be making it wheelchair friendly anyway, because the wife is already in a wheelchair. So it looks like we'll be racing in another few years. So I need to, you know, the front of the house has always been converted, you know, to get her in and out the house, but obviously the back garden and the doorways and everything, you start finding out how little room there is when you're sitting in something. I mean, at the minute I can still walk about around the garden, it's not an issue, but you know, going around town now, if I've got to sort of travel one length of the town to the other, then I'm on one of the old people's scooters, which is not a nice feeling when you don't feel old and decrepit, but your body is. I was a little bit self-conscious on my first real trip around town on one of those damn things. And all the pricks that keep walking out in front of you. Because when you're below, I used to notice it with a wife with a wheelchair, but yeah, people's field of view is here. So if you're down there, you don't get seen. So you end up with handbags in your face, someone's stinky, sweaty arse. It's a pain in the arse. So I'm looking at a wheelchair with a raising seat, so that I can still, I mean, this place isn't going to be able to accommodate one. There's no way I can get one through down the bottom of the garden and up into this shed and through this doorway. So hopefully I'll remain mobile enough that, you know, I can still get down the bottom of the garden, even if it's for walking age, and then sort of operate this brew rig while I can. Worst case scenario, if I can't build something closer with better access at a later stage, with a, you know, I'd have to can all this and eventually go either to an all-in-one brewing system or nothing at all, I guess. But hopefully that will be several years down the line, but already, you know, I sort of made the decision to cut the tops out of the collars of the kegs. Not so much the boil kettle one, but it makes it easier when you're standing. I can now lower the table a little bit, because if you remember when I done my brew shed build, I ended up having to raise this table to get the fridge underneath. Well, I've sold all them, and so I could raise the shelf so it'll still take the kegs and storage. But I've got some corny kegs. I might get rid of them because I've got more than I need. And there's some water containers there which I was just going to use for storing RO water. So that could, you know, maybe get another inch further down, because sort of standing here, you know, I'm not the tallest guy in the world, but I'm not a short ass completely. But yeah, it's just a little bit easier now, even though I'm out of shop now. But yeah, you can see through the tops of the kegs, especially with the HLT, because you don't want to overfill it. I've got a ball valve to go on that, old ball cock, so that may or may not go. So I'm sort of messing about with these things and just taking me time. Seems I've got a lot of it at the minute, although I think I only get paid for 28 weeks, and then I have to go and start fighting the DWP for money. So yeah, we're carrying on at the pace I can carry on at when things permit me to do it. At the minute, I still do things that I shouldn't do, and then pay for it a few hours later or a couple of days afterwards. But nothing I can do. I can't really tell you a lot else other than waffle on inanely for a fucking hour. Which is no point in that, because most people only watch 3 minutes of the video anyway, don't they, by the analytics on YouTube. So yeah, oh boy, no more. I just thought I would put some kind of update, because a few people have asked sort of where have you been, what are you doing, and well, alright, 2 people did. You bastards don't care. No, so that's it really. Yeah. I don't know what the well, I do know what the future will lead, but I don't know at what pace. So you know, I can't really plan for anything. So I just have to take it one day at a time, basically, and do what I can do as I can do it and when I can do it. So I might do another update when I get somewhere, when I experiment with the steam condenser, when I've actually got the pot working and not leaking. I've still got to drill the hole for the pot. I did lose one of my hole cutters. There is a punch now that you can buy, but it's about 14 quid, and do I want to spend 14 quid to put a hole in maybe 1 or 3 pots? But I've got a cutter, so I'll have to see how it goes. If that fluffs up after one, I'll have to buy the damn thing. But, yeah, we've still got the old one. I did pick up an ultra low watt one, which I think is 3 kilowatts, 3000 watts, but I think that might be too long for a keg. So I might convert one of the pots and then sell it. If I don't keep the system, I'll just build another one and sell it. I see Tony Yates has now put his system on up for sale. Unfortunately, that means old Tony will be no more on the brewing scene, I guess. He's I know he's been on a sort of a health mission for a few years now. So yeah, unfortunately we'll be losing Tony as a brewer, but hopefully he'll keep his channel up, and there's lots and lots of information on there for people. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame really. Sort of him and Paul Wixty were sort of the reason why I've got all this stainless steel shit. Although they've actually built their systems, operated them, and yeah, moved on. But yeah, I'm still here to bore you to death, unfortunately. Right, I'm going to go because I'm already boring you to death. A la vista. Well, how is it? Oh, I can't remember. Whatever he says.